What up? This is Luke James, and you're watching We Sound Crazy. And that is what brought me back to music. That is what that experience is. What it made me put Luke to the side and focus on Johnny. It was cool to go on that ride with New Edition because it saved me as a musician, as an artist.
Welcome to another week of We Sound Crazy, your official backstage pass to all things music and culture. It's your boy, Billionaire, the only non-singer in this collective.
What's up, y'all? Claude Kelly is in the building.
What up? It's Chuck Harmony, and I'm in the building.
What it is, Bacon for Making is here.
We got a multi-hyphenate.
Yeah, we got
a New Orleans native.
Yes, he is.
Does everything and does it great.
Singer, actor,
producer, writer, songwriter.
A multi-hyphenate.
A multi-hyphenate. He's
on one of my favorite shows, The Shot, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's a superstar.
Yeah, kind of superstar status.
He's a superstar.
Yeah.
It was
good.
The one and only Luke James.
Yes, Lord.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I'm so grateful.
In his Canadian tuxedo.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We go way back in lots of different ways here, but what connects us is a super love of music and art in general. Word. So this is gonna be just a conversation about it all. Yeah. So welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you for having me. I'm geeked, man. I'm geeked. This is awesome.
Listen, we've already covered. You know the DeBarges.
Yes. El DeBarge is my dog, and man, when he sits down at them keys, it's like instantly there. It don't matter what piano he touches, it always sounds the same. The muscle is just boom.
Yeah.
His style.
Man, I saw him performing with Robert Glasper at the Blue Note. Randomly. He just got up on the mic, and you know Rob don't do karaoke, so it was an experience.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, and
at the Blue Note, which city?
At the Blue Note, New York.
New York,
yes.
Yeah.
Rob does Robtober.
Yeah.
That residency, man. You never know who's gonna pull up, and El DeBarge is right there, man. And when I tell you that, it's a treat. That crowd is a music loving crowd. They'll sit there, do everything. And I mean, they just took a ride, man. No backgrounds, took a ride.
There's just certain people that are like beyond influential, right? Like, there's like Stevie goes in that category, Prince goes in that category, but El DeBarge, the DeBarges go in that category as well.
Tempo.
Like they've been sampled, maybe beyond the Isley Brothers. I can't think of anyone that's sampled as much as the DeBarges in every.
It's up there.
It's up there.
Yeah.
And covered. I mean, it's
covered, right?
Yeah.
But you said that's light skin R&B off camera. Right?
That's maximum
premium.
Premium light skin R&B.
Explain.
What is light skin R&B?
There is a softness that these brothers are able to tap into, and I want to say, I could be wrong. I'm learning. But I believe it started with Smokey.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
That silky. It didn't matter what he was saying, but it always came here. It always came here. But Smokey will he'll go up there with you.
Yeah.
He'll go there with you, man. And
why do you have his vibrato down pat?
Because it's a lullaby.
Yeah.
Smokey knew what he was.
He knew what he was
100%.
doing.
It's amazing to listen to those records.
What blows my mind about Smokey Robinson is that because him and Berry Gordy were the blueprint of Motown, you realize that soft-spokenness that became an A&R way is actually him.
Yes.
That Diana Ross has and
Michael Jackson
has.
Stevie Wonder too.
Marvin.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful to be here, and it's.
When I think of my music, I think of myself. I don't particularly fancy that idea of my music. I like my music to be something that gives people something they could reach in.
And that's light skin PR right there.
It's
nice. That's light skin PR.
That's Marvin Gaye.
That's Marvin Gaye.
That was the whole.
MJ took it from them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So how does light skin R&B differ from dark skin R&B?
Oh well,
I want to understand this.
There's Smokey, there's the DeBarges, there's oh my God, wow, Chic. Was he in Chic? It's the group Chic. Oh.
That's Nile Rodgers.
No. Oh, my God, I'm thinking of another light-skinned brother legend. We stand on his shoulders. And why Howard?
John Legend?
Howard Hewitt.
Howard Hewitt.
Yeah.
Howard Hewitt.
Light skin R&B.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's
and he gave you power too.
Yeah.
But it always started right here. Right? It always went there. In their voices and the way they sung. Every thought about you. Wow. It's always there. But you go to Teddy Pendergrass. Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, James Brown. It was aggressive.
David Ruffin.
It was aggressive love. It was aggressive romance. It was, you know what's about to go down tonight. For Light's Kid, it was, I don't know if you know what's going to go down tonight, but I'm hoping that it will. But Teddy was like, now you step past this door.
It's going down.
In this discussion of us talking about just so many different dimensions of voices, I feel like your voice, it can go in so many different directions, which I think makes you stand out from everybody.
I'm grateful, man.
Coming up, who were you kind of cutting your, like what records, artists that you were cutting your teeth to? Like, were you, like just how were you able to find the many dimensions of your voice?
That's a great question because, you know, I'll answer it right here, right now. But then later on the day, I'll think of, my God, I'll have a moment, right?
Yeah.
And I like to keep myself in a lot of nostalgia because also that helps me hone in. That just feels like a safe space for creativity for me, and just feels good. And it's almost like a reset. But I'll definitely say if I can think of all the Whitney Houston for sure.
Yeah.
The particular song is Run to You. The melody of it, the longing, the drama of it, it could make me cry right now just thinking about it.
Yeah.
My mother, I saw a dude perform on Apollo amateur night, and he sung a song for you. And the way he sung it was so moving. I didn't know, I thought it was his, right?
Yeah.
Of course I heard him say who the song was, but I'm a kid. I don't know. I'm just looking at if they're gonna boo him. He looks like he could sing. He got up there and he sung that. And the line is, Apollo, and when my life is over, remember when we were together. Now, as a kid who was watching Apollo every Sunday whenever it comes on, right? I'm imagining myself, can I do that? Can I go on that stage and sing in front of an audience that's ready to boo you off, right?
Yeah.
And here's this man that seizes his moment, takes it as if this is his entire show, and he conveys something so personal, so intimate. When my life is over, remember when we were together. And I was so moved by that. And I remember asking my mom, who sings this song? And she went to the back, and my mom had an extensive collection of records, and she brought out Donny Hathaway.
Yes, sir.
The album with the look like wooden streaks and the faces are etched in it. That's what it looks like, that album. And I listened to that man's voice on the record player.
Yeah.
And it just does. His tonality, his sincereness, I knew that. And my mom told me, you know, when he was living, they called him the gift. And that stuck with me. And I always knew that's the feeling I always wanted to give. And so it was there. It was Babyface. When can I see you again?
Yeah.
Baby. That. And then everything Babyface that he touched on, things that I didn't even, John B, Joe. I remember playing Joe for my mother's friend, and she thought that was too old for me to be listening to. Baby, I wanna do all of the things your man won't do. I'll do them for you. I was the way he
To this day.
Yeah.
To this day, bro.
You can never. It's just too powerful. I was so moved. Those voices, they moved me. I mean, my voice changed. You know, I was the kid that was always in. I was singing that till I was blue in the face. And then I was trying to sing Tevin Campbell. I was doing that forever. And then I hope tomorrow will bring a better you. I was singing all that stuff, and then my voice changed over summer. And I used to have a clique of people that I used to be on the phone with. And from there, I used to just learn so many different songs and just mimic people. And then we used to get on there and just have sing-offs and stuff like that. And then one summer I came back on that same line, and I put my phone on mute. I told everybody I was going on hold. I had just sung something and it didn't feel right. And I put everybody on hold, and I could hear them saying, damn, his voice don't sound the same. So it hurt my heart. I was so depressed. So I started listening to big voices that I think I could get to. And so I got turned on to H-Town. Last night I thought you back to when we made good love. Dino?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Because he had a voice.
Yeah.
Man. These are the conversations that me, Chuck, and Luke have in the studio.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people understand that when, in my opinion, when you're doing it right, you go in the studio, it's not just, hi, nice to meet you, go in the booth and cut music. There's like hours of conversation. And Phil, we've all spent time, hours of conversation where you're playing records, watching videos, digging in the crates for what it's worth, to find sounds, inspirations. And when you're talking about the yearning of Marvin Gaye, all the people you mentioned have that in their own way, right? That's where I think you stand head and shoulders above the rest of male R&B singers in terms of potential talent, gift, stage presence right now. That's why I can't wait for new Luke James music. Because we need not just the songs online and on the radio, but we need to see and feel that. So that people can see and feel that and be influenced by it for the next generation.
It's time, bro. We love you on TV and film. We really do.
And we're going to talk about it.
I can go down the resume. But it's time for new music.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you get this often, but I'm giving it to you right now. We want new music.
Yes.
No, I receive it.
It's going down. It's cooking.
Yeah, we cooking. It's always a process, being of this time and having, I guess, some of the knowing that I have that I was raised around. I'm from New Orleans. I grew up in music. I've always heard some of the best, greatest vocals you ever want to hear that no one probably will ever know, and I just know what I like and what I feel. And, and then when you go through the rigmarole of industry and you learn, okay, this ain't just about creativity and the spirituality that comes with the thing. There's all this business that comes into play that ain't no singing. It ain't about just your talent and your gift and your will to, I will make each audience believe it. It doesn't matter what stage you put me on, it will be a win for you. But when you get into the business, it's like this hump of, you got people deciding, what magic is and what magic isn't. And they don't know magic, and they're gatekeeping, and it could just take a lot out of you, especially if you're not surrounded. And not to say that that's, completely what has thrown me off in a sense. It hasn't thrown me off. I've just expanded, and I'm learning to take my time and answer the questions that I have first before I want to answer someone else's question of what is good and what the world needs and what's going to make them bread and all of that stuff. And God has allowed me to expand myself creatively, therefore I can give music time. And there's comfortability in that. We were talking about that earlier, where you can get, a lot of things could be happening financially in a space, where you're like, I'll do it when I feel it. I'll do it where I feel it, and that's why it's always good to always be latched to people that will, listen to what you're doing and say, I don't know what you're thinking about with this stuff, but it's ready. We can help make that thing happen. And
we done heard some things. That's all I'm gonna say.
So I want to dig in.
Things.
So it feels like, and just what I'm gathering, Timon, I feel like Chuck Harmony and Claude Kelly have been in the studio with Luke James.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
We ain't
Is that what
heard
you
shit
feel like?
over here.
Right.
We ain't heard nothing. This was see, we don't. It means nothing to be on the show.
Only,
that's funny.
y'all haven't heard nothing only because we're at the beginning of the journey.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We
But you all are in the studio recording.
yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me just say, because I was going to allude to this earlier, people give you so much credit for your singing, but they don't give you a lot of credit for your songwriting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you wrote some big records as well.
Thank you.
Big record.
And
Thank you.
I think that's what.
Big
It means everything coming from these guys. You know that, right?
No, but I think that's what this next project is going to show. Not just the singing, but it's going to show how he thinks about music.
Yeah.
and what's coming from his heart. So I'm
Yeah.
excited.
I'm tremendously excited about that because, again, I think it's everything that moved me. My interpolation, our interpolation of what moved us. And and it starts there. Does hopefully it moves the world, but it's moving us, and that's enough.
Yeah.
There's this video that kind of resurfaced recently of you singing behind Tyrese on Soul Train.
Yep.
What do you? Because you've been at this. You've been here.
Yeah.
And you're still here out singing everybody. What do you remember about that time, and just what are some of the things that you feel like you're still applying to your life and career now that you learned back then?
So doing that was divine intervention because before then I was and am a huge Tyrese fan.
Yeah.
Right. As a black kid.
Hell yeah.
You know, when you seen this black man, this black dude walk on a bus,
Dark skin R&B.
and able to just sing,
feel me?
right?
Yeah.
It was everything. And then to watch him on Apollo, and then it to expand, and then to get an autograph. My mom got an autograph from him when he came to New Orleans one time, and that was great. And my mom, she put that in that, like I'm looking at this dude and just imagining being something like that. And then to fast forward to meet him, meet his team, and then me and my brothers, we get signed on to do background with him. Was like divine intervention. Now I'm standing behind essentially my idol in a sense, right? And watching his do's and don'ts, right? The way to perform.
Yeah.
When you're on a show with a bunch of artists, how do you bring it, because around that time, it was 50 Cent and the shows were all of these things and I was learning so much, all the do's and don'ts, showing up on time, showing, how to be nice, how to be kind, take pictures, don't take pictures, all those things. But then also the musicality of it all, the hunger. When I think of that, when I see that clip, I remember that was maybe 2 weeks after we got to LA.
Wow.
Right? From New Orleans. And here we are singing background with Tyrese and Soul Train. Right. And, we're ready. We're seasoned every moment. I was in a trio called Upscale. And we would do all kinds of shows, all talent shows all around New Orleans, etc. And we were at Jazz Fest earlier that year, and Brian McKnight was one of the feature artists.
Oh, Brian McKnight. Phil's best friend.
Yes. So we
gotta talk about Brian McKnight in a second.
We got to. And Brian McKnight is one of the most brilliant people too. But we'll get to
we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We got a card from one of his people, and we lost the card. Fast forward, here's this show at the Singer Theater in New Orleans, Brian McKnight featuring Tyrese. And so in our minds, we just came from a gig. Brian McKnight, we're gonna go stand by his tour bus, and we're gonna get that, we're gonna, reignite that relationship again. We messed up, right? We lost the card. Yeah. They played us to the side. I think it was his security or whatnot. They played us to the side. It's interesting because we could see Brian McKnight and his sons on the bus playing Xbox. It was crazy, right? But we just stood there. We stood our ground, and then this guy came out of a car, a limo, and he had this grin on his face, and he had this headset. It was, I was like, he must be manager or something. I don't know. It felt important, and he asked us if we sang, and so right then and there, we sang right there in that alley around everybody in the backstage, the backstage exit. And the next thing I know, I hear a voice, "Yo!" And a big old bald head pokes his head out of the window. And it's like, yo, Frank, bring him up. And that's when we met Tyrese there. And we got that relationship right there. His manager at the time, Frank Gatson.
Shout out Frank Gatson.
Frank Gatson.
He's always attached to legendary things.
Yes, he is.
In every way.
He's the main.
Yeah, sure.
And we stayed in contact. When we graduated, we moved to LA. And then we started singing background for Tyrese. And that was just like, just humble beginnings of just, being the young little brothers, in a sense, flunkies, because we would clean up. We would be the first downstairs. We were holding luggage. They was putting us through the ringer. And we was happily doing it because it was just like, this is the opportunity of a lifetime, and we couldn't wait for him to want to go to a mall or something like that. We were just like, all of that was just moving me. And at the same time, this is when Tyrese is breaking into more acting, so Fast and the Furious. So we're there around that time, and I'm watching all of that. I'm a sponge. I'm just
now that you're saying it, I'm really watching how Tyrese's trajectory, obviously, and how in a lot of ways you followed in those footsteps and done things. That's interesting. I never realized
Tyrese hooked me up with my first acting coach, Miss Kay McGregor. And that's going to be so bad if I said her name wrong. But hey, I love you. but like, when I think about all of that, I'm just so grateful I stood the test, because that was what I needed. I needed to be around all of that. And from him, I met the underdogs. Through the underdogs, I met Little Steve. I met Tank. I met Eric Dawkins. I learned about songwriting. I watched Beyonce and all of them come in and do Dreamgirls. I was there. I sang background on some of that stuff.
You were there when they were recording all the stuff for Dreamgirls?
Yes. Harvey Mason Jr.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Harvey Mason is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to see him now, but then you don't know.
Yeah.
But you're like, man.
Yes.
The president of the Recording Academy, for those who don't know, Harvey Mason Jr.
He know what he's talking about. So don't be tripping on him too much. He knows what he's listening to.
He knows music.
He knows music, man. Him and Damon, they were just killing it. And
Damon too.
Damon Thomas, man. They did all that. I mean, I was I didn't know how. Actually, I did, because all of my favorite records on all the albums that I had been listening to prior to that were Underdog records. It was crazy how that all.
Melodic.
Yeah, all of it was the telephone voice and all of that stuff. The sound of autotune. They used autotune the best way.
I agree with that. That's true.
It was a texture they knew how to do that didn't take away nothing. You felt all the power and pain, but yet there was something that made their sound so different from any other record you would ever hear.
It's funny you say that, because I think about when I first heard Mario's Turning Point record.
I was there for that.
I heard How Could You for the first time. And I loved all the other songs, but I could not get away from that record.
I heard that demo and we were signed to the Underdogs, me and my brother Q. We were signed to the Underdogs at that time. So we heard all those records coming and going.
Yeah.
And none of them was given to us. We were so sick. Oh my God.
That one, How You Gonna Act Like That?
Yes.
Tyrese. Oh God.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I first heard of you from Luke and Q.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Me too.
I was like, who I think I saw a picture of y'all in some magazine or something back then. I was
Probably
like
what is it?
Right on, or Word Up, or maybe Vibe, one of those, but it was like
Vibe.
y'all got a lot of like print press.
Yeah.
I remember seeing y'all's picture a lot.
Clive Davis, J Records.
Is it real in person?
Right.
Yes. Do you have the magic?
Right.
Yeah.
I want to see the magic. And L.A. Reid was great at doing
He
that.
was.
He loved to sit back with them drumsticks and get all the girls in there.
Yo, them drumsticks.
And sit back there and let you, and he'd be playing on
Yes.
your record.
On his desk.
On his desk, and just watching you do your thing. He did that to me when I got signed to
was that Epic at the time?
Universal.
Island Def Jam.
Island Def Jam.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he did exactly that. Didn't want to let me leave. When I was about to get on the elevator, he came to David Massey. He said, wait, what you doing? What you doing, David? Mercury Records. He was like, what are you doing, David? No. Buy him some pizza. Buy him. I said, well, I heard you gave Rihanna Mr. Childs. I knew that story.
He's like, I like chicken
When
satay.
he said buy a pizza, I said
Pizza.
Well, I heard y'all gave, we got up out of there though. We got that deal right. But no, it's just a different time right now, and You know, it's not impossible to have such an artist of like back then or like myself that move you. It's a matter on the artist actually, you know, practice. People don't think about practice enough. It's funny, you got an Iverson hoodie on right now, but you know, practice is absolutely important, man.
Yeah.
It just there's so much you can get out of practice. You can find out about yourself through practice, and then you bring it to stage, and then even stage is an exercise. But you know, everybody's too cool, man. You know, and that's all right. Be cool. I'll be around.
There's a part of it where being an artist is about, of course, being like in your head and being creative and all that stuff. But there's a part to the Iverson thing where you have to treat it like a sport too.
Yeah. You know, everybody's hungry, you know? That's really what it is. And there's a lot of people who don't sing, who don't value certain things. And they are, you know, in a sense, they make themselves gatekeepers, you know? Because it's you know, does a song play? That's all I care about. Does a song play? That's it. I'm not really thinking about the live performance until the live performance happens, and then it's not good. And then you got them this spot on SNL, and it didn't translate. To the tour
Or the Grammys.
or the Grammys,
Or the Oscars.
or the Oscars. It did,
Or the Quincy tribute.
Or the Super Bowl.
Or the Super Bowl.
halftime show.
We sound crazy.
I Want You by our special guest, Luke James.
Thank
you know
you.
what? I used to kill that song in the shower. I really did. Like, I don't know what it was, the acoustics, my all settle, not falsetto, you know what I mean? It was.
So you're a shower stage killer?
I'm a shower stage killer, bro.
Yeah.
For real. Actually, I didn't be, that's a mixtape I'm doing. Yeah.
Shower stage killer.
shower stage kill. I like it.
Yeah.
It rings.
When you recorded that record, did you know that was going to be the one you went with first?
So it was a demo forever. So it was just the verse and the hook forever, and the back just a cappella, right?
Yeah.
And now, as you can see, it's only like evolved now, right? It lived in my computer forever, but I would always listen to it because before this, I hadn't discovered myself as Luke James. I was looking for it, so I was just a songwriter. And I was just jumping from place to place. And now I've met some people who would take me serious as an artist. And now I'm thinking about what is it I want to say. And this little demo, this one record I've always played it like, oh my God, this will get the deal. Because in my mindset of everything that I've done before with Luke and Q, if any office I go in and I sing that record right there, I hit that, I got the deal. There's no way I know I got the deal, right? And so I just always had that. And I worked with, I was working with Stacey Barth.
Shout out Stacey Barth.
Stacey.
Shout out Stacey Barth. Great
Talk to me, talk to me, baby. She introduced me to Cadis and Sean.
Shout out. Yeah, no Case and Sean.
And through them, they heard the record and they were like, give it to us. We'll work it. I mean, had no time signature, no nothing on it. You know, my regular. And when I came back, they had that thing thumping. And I was like, there it is, right? And then I was working at the same time, working with one of my best friends, Brittany Jackson, and another great friend, Nazari Atway. Yeah. So I brought them in, and we finished the record. When I played it for Danger and Marcel and them, the finished record, it was like, okay, let's set up these meetings because we're ready. That's the record. That's it was a no-brainer. That's the record I got signed on. That was on my demo. That was the record I got signed on. That was the record the label said we going full throttle with that. My first televised performance was at the BET Honors.
I missed that show.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah,
it was
great
out.
show.
That was a great show.
That was excellent. We all tucked
Stephen
and
Hill.
suited. Yeah.
It was top tier.
Yeah, it was top tier.
I think that year was probably one of the. I think they had another one the next year.
And then it kind of wrapped up.
Yeah, and it kind of wrapped up. But that one, I mean, that audience was filled. I mean, they were honoring Cicely Tyson, Spike Lee, Mariah Carey, Maya Angelou. So you can imagine the rest of the audience is Will Smith, Terrence Howard, India Arie, Anthony Hamilton, Jill Scott, None of these people are performing. They just there. I mean, it was incredible. And I had them people up on their feet before the second verse. Michelle Obama standing right there.
Come on,
I
bro.
winked at her. I mean, it was like, but that record.
Yeah.
And I remember I came there to do the thing, right? And I was singing my song. At first, it came to me to do it was a tribute to Stevie. They were honoring Stevie as well. To do a tribute
Stevie
to
J or Stevie Wonder?
Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
Stevie Wonder.
Phil.
I just want to make sure there's a few Stevies
Stevie,
close.
I'm done. What's up, Stevie J? Shout out. And then they were like, no, we'll let you sing your song. So I get there and I'm there for the rehearsal the day before, and I think Mariah Carey just finished watching what her honorary thing was going to be, and my label was there, obviously Def Jam, right? And they were there, and I guess it wasn't in their realm to know that I was doing the show as well. And oh wow, so what song is he? Who's he tributing? And they're like, oh, he's not. He's singing his own song. Oh, he's gonna sing a song that nobody knows, a kid that nobody knows.
Yeah.
And they were the president. He was like, that's not who greenlit it. This is not a good idea. I do the sound check, and because I come up under Frank Gatson, don't mess around, right?
Yeah.
I got on the stage. I did exactly, because I don't know if I'm gonna get another shot. I want them to know exactly the way I sing, the way I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
And I did it just as I would do it live. And Stephen Hill was there, and immediately he changed me. It was just, the teleprompter was just, here's this artist, Def Jam artist, written some songs, Luke James. It changed to BET's Music Matters artist, New Orleans, Louisiana, Music Matters artist, Luke James.
Yeah.
It became bells and whistles.
They put some confetti on that name.
Yeah.
But
Campaign.
it was the show and proof right then and there. And man, that thing changed. I want you changed everyting.
But wait a minute though, because that's like a gem for new artists right there.
Yeah.
We talk about being ready, and also
Yeah.
your sound check mattering.
Yeah.
Performing because you don't know who's in the room.
Yeah.
Make every moment count.
And who's paying attention.
Yeah.
You can't just, like, a lot of times, to your question about why live performances suck now, everyone just kind of dialing in until the live show and hoping for the best and not knowing that people are paying attention. That could lead to your next check, your next gig, the next whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You got to stay ready.
You got to stay ready.
Get ready.
Right. I'm hungry. I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
I was very hungry then. Yeah. And I know whose shoulders I stand on. So I never got diluted and let any of that go. I know that this is BET Honors, and I know all the other times that I've watched the BET Honors, all of the greats are sitting right here.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the faces of where they're gonna sit everybody. So in my mind, I know Spike Lee's gonna be right there. My favorite movie is Mo Better Blues.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it was, and that was an interesting thing. I did that sound check. Then later that night, they had a party before the BET Honors. And I'm meeting everybody. And I meet Spike Lee. And I love you, Spike. I go up to Spike and I say, man, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Luke James. I'm performing tomorrow. Man, what did I say? I think I auditioned for something. Now, okay, I was still green in the sense, so I didn't know you don't talk about shit like that with people, whatever. Yeah. So I was like, man, I auditioned, and I didn't even get my words out of like, I auditioned for you, man, but I can't wait to work for you, work with you, right? I couldn't get it out. He quickly hit me with the OG, keep working, and moved on. And I was like, oh, wow, right? It moved me. It moved me. I'm not gonna lie, it moved me. But it moved me in such a way that when I was in my dressing room the next day, it lived on my mind, but I knew exactly where he would be seated. And I said, oh, he gonna know me today.
Yeah.
He's going, right? And I did my show, I did the performance. And if you ever look back at that performance, you see me point down.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. That's
him
That's
looking
the
at
rock
me.
and roll.
That's the rock and roll. That's the fire.
Yeah.
That's the fire right there.
That's the
man.
fire right there.
We sound crazy.
And you're so damn fine.
I got to say,
My. You sure look good tonight.
You see what I'm saying?
After all this time. I used to mimic Johnny Gill as a kid.
How dare you go from a run into that conversation? I used to.
That's a single.
You know we yawn and sing.
Ooh, you know, one day.
Oh, I'm so tired. You know, there's a singer's life, and I don't know no singer that don't do that.
Yeah. Right? No, we all do it. Yeah,
it's just our way.
That was okay. So the reason we said it was a full circle moment while the song was playing was we've had the legendary Johnny Gill here as a guest on the podcast.
He's sat on that couch.
On that couch.
Amazing.
And raved about the one and only Luke James.
Yeah.
And of course we agreed because it was perfect casting.
Phenomenal.
Vocally and acting.
My Gemini brother.
Which is not easy to do. Like you get someone who can sing good and can't act. You get someone to act that can't sing.
Word.
You embodied that role.
Yeah.
I'm grateful, man.
And when I say embodied, I mean like in an Angela Bassett, Tina Turner embodied, in a Jamie Foxx, Ray Charles embodiment kind of level.
Damn, I received that.
Yeah,
it was
great.
It's one of the best movies.
I received that. I agree. If I wasn't even in it, I would say the same thing.
You should agree.
I probably hate on it because I wasn't in it, but I also.
But you were in it, so you're not gonna do that.
So I'm not gonna do that.
I feel like that's one of the last great biopics. Like,
Agreed.
True.
It's like how the Jacksons or What's Love Got to Do It. Like you know the lines.
Yeah.
You want to watch it over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had all the magic in it
Yeah.
that would stand the test of time.
It might be weird because we're friends, but we do watch that movie a lot in the studio.
Now, listen.
How did you prepare for that role?
Okay. Me being an honest soul, I was in a very, I was depressed around that time. Music wasn't moving like wasn't doing nothing for me. And I needed a way out. But I didn't think about film and television, none of that. I was just thinking about music and thinking that'd be my way out. And so I was tucked away in Miami in the studio, just trying to find my love for music. And it just so happened a brother of mine, Elijah Kelly. Elijah
Kelly, of course.
Yup. Funny thing is, I was at the Grammys earlier that year, and it's sitting in the nosebleed, and I watched, I just watched people sitting in seats that I thought myself and my other contemporaries belonged in, and I remember just how that felt to me. Just didn't feel good in no kind of way, and it really put me in a weird place. At the same time, ironically, I get a text message as I'm sitting in that nosebleed, and it's from Elijah, and he says, "Never again." And then I'm like, and he says, "Behind you, look up." He's right there.
Wow.
Feeling everything I'm feeling, watching every BJ Chicago kid find his seats up here. It's everything is just like this. We belong down there. Yeah. We earned this, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all of it was eating me up. Fast forward, here I am in Miami trying to find my shit. He calls, he leaves a message. Elijah. He calls, he leaves a message. Thank God he did. He says, "I got this opportunity for a film. Please give me a call back, brother. Hope all is well." Thank God I called back. I wasn't so far gone that I said, fuck everybody. I called him back in that pretty much in that same hour. He was at a straight to offer with Chris Robinson and Jesse Collins. Shout out to Chris Robinson, Jesse Collins.
Yeah, we love Jesse. And Chris.
They were at a straight to offer. He was at a straight to offer about a project called The New Edition Biopic. And he was inquiring who they had looked at. And he threw my name in a pot. And he saw a light bulb go off in Jesse and Chris' his head because I did BET Honors with them. Yeah. I did BET anything has always been with them. So fast forward, boom, why we never reached out to Luke. So he gave him my number. He reached out to me, gave him my number. They hit my people. And ironically, I used to mimic the shit out of Johnny Gill.
Yeah.
So I know Johnny Gill. I know that voice. I was like wondering, do I give me or do I give Johnny? So I said, I'm just gonna give Johnny. And I did it, and that was it. I flew back to LA. I was living on my manager's couch while we were doing boot camp, because it wasn't rehearsals, it was boot camp. And the way they broke that thing down, it was in a warehouse out in Sherman Oaks, and that's where their production was, and it was hot as hell. And I get there, and it felt like summer camp. It felt like not summer camp. It felt like band practice in summer, or band,
sure.
you know, like that. Feel like, oh, I'm hot. It's hot, and we about to be sweating, and you know, it was that vibration. And as I'm walking in there, there's I'm giving you all this stuff because of how I prepared for it.
Yeah.
I was already ready for it. The interesting thing is my own life.
Yeah.
I found out was this basically the same thing as Johnny, having a big voice, being young and not and a label not knowing where to sell this voice.
Yeah.
Right. So what do we do with him? Right. And so I related to that tremendously. The offer was first for Bobby, but I resonated with Johnny.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I get there, and then it's hot as hell, and I'm walking through this production office, which is cool. And on the wall is my picture and a couple other guys' pictures, but under my picture for Johnny are a bunch of other dudes' pictures, right? And so I get into this room, and they give us a little piece of paper where we sign off that we getting paid to come in for this boot camp and everything, but we're still looking.
Oh,
That's how they got us all.
no pressure.
No, man, it was and immediate, and from there we knew something was up. And then when we got with Stro, who is still to this day New Edition's manager and also choreographer, etc. Right, him and Lee, they hit us with it. Like, you know, there ain't no, you know, director's chairs for you actors and nothing. Music starts at 8 a.m. You know, don't not get here at 8 a.m. Music starts at 8 a.m. We dancing at 8 a.m. Like, they didn't treat us like we were anything. And for me, already all the things that I've done and everything, to the other guys, I'm the guy that's like, oh yeah, man, you don't do it. Beyonce, this, that, third. You're the better singer out of all of us. This, that, or you probably dance better. Man, I'm just as nervous as y'all. I'm like, man, I don't know what's gonna happen. And man, they put us through it, man. They taught us like we asked them to become a group. And we had cabin fever. We got into fights. It built so much. And then the littles, the younger versions of us, they came in so bubbly, like they knew each other for years, like they grew up. And then when Stro went, they line up, and then they hit that candy roll. And then from that moment right there, we knew how far we all individually, but together we had to go. And I started digging. They gave us whole big old pamphlets of each individual. I only got to hang with Johnny one time because he was dealing with some things with his mother.
Yeah.
And so he didn't really have the time. Yeah. But I hung out with him, like we had a whole dinner, and we just talked about everything. I talked about my life and how when I first saw him and everything. And it was so crazy how we could relate to each other. And so I just had to trust myself. So I had my acting coach, Richard Lawson, shouts out. We just correlated things that went on in my life in a group, out of group.
Yes.
Songwriting, Hollywood, New Orleans to Hollywood, all the different meetings. We just went through the story and was like, oh, I can relate to that. And I just had to be honest. Yeah. But when I sing, use as much of Johnny's voice that I can muster. Yeah. And when I got in the studio with Babyface to sing My, that was the first time I was singing. So I still hadn't come to the point of like, how do I sing? And I remember Babyface was like, do Johnny. Yeah, do Johnny. It's gonna really work well right there. I said, okay, I'll do it. Sip on your waves. And I was like, oh, and when I heard it back, it also was my first time singing a Babyface song with Babyface.
In front of Babyface.
Yeah. And I didn't know all those inflections mattered in the actual song. The way he says, my. It's very specific.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was an incredible ride, man. And that is what brought me back to music. That experience is what it made me put Luke to the side and focus on Johnny. And then I had to go on the ride of like what made Johnny sing and have perseverance, and all of this music that we're learning and all this music that I grew up on that I hadn't been listening to because I'm so busy listening to my demos or the new song that I'm trying to put on the radio and focusing on my package and all of that deal and all of that stuff. Yeah, it was kind of it was cool to go on that ride with New Edition because it saved me as a musician, as an artist, and I reimagined myself and remade myself in a sense. Whenever I see him, he'll jokingly hit me. He's like, "How does it feel to be me?"
And Johnny's a jokester.
Yeah.
He is a complete jokester.
Complete jokester.
Man, it's nothing but love with Johnny. He opens the stage for me.
Really?
Oh, anytime I'm in town, he brings me on, and it's lights out.
Come on, Johnny.
That's my dog.
The legend.
We sound crazy.
I think we should play a game right now.
Let's play a game.
Let's do it.
We do this game where we call it Take It to the Bridge.
Oh.
And so DJ Fillionaire
wow.
play a little part of a song, and then the bridge is all yours.
Take it to the bridge.
Stuff. Bridge is the worst. It's the hardest part to get to.
Well, we miss bridges.
Yeah,
that's
we
why
miss
we started. We're
I
like,
get
yo,
it.
where the bridges at?
I
There's a
dig
couple songs out right now that if they had a bridge, the song would be even better.
Yeah,
it. Yes,
that's true.
I agree.
So hopefully this inspires people to put that damn bridge back in the song. Damn it.
Take It to the Bridge, Luke James edition. Let's go.
Let's go.
Maybe in another life, things could be the way we both desired. It's a catch when you do. Even when you're losing someone that you lose. And I wish I never met her at all. Even though I love her so, she belongs.
Yeah.
Let's get back to take it to the bridge.
Let's see.
One
here.
more.
Yeah. I'm gonna swallow my pride, say I'm sorry. Stop pointing fingers, the blame is on me. I want a new life, and I want it with you. Don't ever let it go. You gotta believe in the spirit of love. It will hurt me, it will hurt anymore. Don't have to think love, them and no. I'm down on my knees, begging you please. No.
That's Lord. That's Lord.
Can you tell me every ground goes wrong? No.
Somebody tell me how to get
Tell me now, get me back. Give me a reason. I'm down on me. I'm down on me. Can you tell me? Can somebody tell me how to get I'm gonna get that riff. The way they used to be.
There's a run right there that I can never do.
Oh God, give me a reason. I'm down on bended knee.
That's a,
I'll never walk up. Niggas don't do that. They don't do that no more.
they don't prune.
They don't prune. They
I'm
not
still crying.
Yes,
You
sir.
know what I mean?
Prune.
I'm still hurt, girl.
I believe that's Jam and Lewis and
Yeah.
Boyz II Men,
Yeah.
which is a lethal combination.
No, incredible combination.
At this point, the situations are controlled. I never meant to hurt her, but I gotta let her go. And she may not understand it, of all the things that's going on. I tried to fight it, but the feeling's just too strong. You make me. Yeah. Oh, you make me.
Come on, bro. Wait, what else would be like?
That's what they were doing.
I should make a move, but I shout out Monica.
Monica.
That's crazy,
Man.
bro.
We got a few
Jermaine
more.
Dupri.
You got one more on you, Phil?
But let's see here.
I'm scared, Phil.
Tell me Tell me what I gotta do to please you. Give me anything you say, I'll do. 'Cause I only wanna make you happy. From the bottom of my heart, it's true. Tell me what I gotta do to please you. 'Cause I only wanna make you. From the stew. Yeah. That shit is so up there.
Yeah, that shit is up there.
But it's not. But it is.
Hold on. Can we have a
You
Joe
need
moment?
full voice
Can we
for
have a
that.
Joe
Yeah.
moment though?
Yeah.
Because Joe is a vocal Bible.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And he's one of the best people I've seen live in the last 5 years.
Same.
And he's
Period.
been out for
Same.
over 30.
Period.
So the fact that he's still doing it original key, full force in arenas is nuts.
But I got one more on Take It to the Bridge. We didn't
One more?
finish-
You got one more? He's like,
put
the game is not over
Yeah,
yet.
we didn't put the button on. I know you know this one.
All right.
I don't know where we.
Long in my life, didn't let love beside, but I swallow my pride. The day you arrive, oh, now with you by my side,
sir.
everything is alright. It's because of you I was able to heal my heart again.
Yeah.
Gotta have a Nehu in there.
Yeah,
Nehu.
Take It to the Bridge, Luke James.
Yes,
Edition.
sir.
Make some noise.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I sweat for my dollars.
You might just be the new reigning champ.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'll take it. Listen, come on.
But the reason ain't no bridges is because can't nobody sing them anymore.
Yes, again, practice. And, I get it. I get it. I got to practice. I still practice. I need to practice more. No, but it if you don't use it, you lose it.
That's true.
And your voice, you have to continue the stamina.
Yeah.
To have the stamina to do it. And I think that's what happens. Not only in the pen. The pen lacks stamina to continue to write, better lyrics, to expound it, like to tell me what the entirety of what I just listened to, what it all boils down to, which is the bridge, right?
Yeah.
And then you take it home. See, this is what I mean. And right? And then when the hook and the vamp comes back, it's like, oh, now I hear this hook differently because this bridge just explained it all to me for real. But people don't have that stamina in the pen or in their voices. So
Stamina.
it don't go.
It's so true, bro.
It's lackluster out there.
It's lackluster.
It really is.
I would actually love to see you in a Donny Hathaway biopic. That's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But Donny Hathaway's from where? Chicago.
Chicago. It's on the table.
So in Chicago, but I think of the Shy.
The
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting enough, I've been approached.
Really? You would kill it.
Kill
Yeah.
it.
I did. I had my Broadway debut
Yes.
2.5, 3 years ago. And in that, I was only singer. I sang a song, two songs. And my inspiration for those songs, because the demos were quite different, were and this is me. I'm a student, man. I take a lot from all of these great people. So Marvin, when he thought of his interpolation of the national anthem, right? And where he was pulling from and what he was trying to convey for himself.
Yeah.
What made that thing make sense to him. And for me, what made sense to sing these lyrics on the stage, I thought of Mahalia Jackson and Donny Hathaway. And in that, so that is, I don't think, I guess it's all Luke, right? But for me, from my perspective, it's like me finding their voices and putting their voices in. If they heard this, how would they sing this? And I guess it just leans into that tonality, the sincerity of each line, hanging on every lyric, and it's all melodic. And in that audience was a producer for a project that is about Donny Hathaway.
Wow.
But you never know.
When you see the process of, and when I say you, I mean the people watching this, see the process of how you interpret music and lyrics, it makes so much sense why you're such a phenomenal actor. That part.
Thank you.
Because every single frame, every second of the song or the scene or the movie has to be accounted for.
Yeah.
There's no dead space. Like Even when you don't think the camera's on you, the camera's on you.
Yes.
If you're the extra in the back, then your expression matters to the scene. So understanding emotions millisecond by millisecond makes you a dope actor.
Thank you.
And you've done so many things now. The Chi is just like one of the biggest shows on television. Continues to be.
When is it coming back, bro? When season?
May 16th, I think.
Okay.
He sang that, by the way.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying.
May 16th, I think.
So coming in May, new season.
Coming in May, season 7.
And them.
Wow. That's crazy.
Oh, them is already out right now.
It's so good.
It's on Prime.
Confession. Chuck and I are always in our little cave now watching TV and doing stuff. So Luke comes, he's like, you watch them, right? We're like, no, we haven't watched it. He's like, we're gonna watch it now. Yo,
crazy,
this dude.
Crazy.
The range.
I don't normally do that, but I'm very proud of that work.
No, as you should.
Phenomenal work.
The range.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. You know, in film and television, in I guess that art form, that medium, you know, theater, wherever it is, it's about the transformation, right? Because one, you need to have the transformation for yourself to embody, to believe that the circumstances that I'm reading are real, right? So that I can do it and not laugh, not think I'm doing something wacky or whatever. And then also for you to believe it. Yeah. Like it's all in the eyes. It's like, something ain't there, right?
Yeah.
You know, not anybody can be Superman, right? Because something has to be there, right? I have to believe in your eyes that you can pull me from a fire. That's going to allow me to believe you in these red tighty whities, right? You know what I'm saying? Not think you're stupid.
Right.
So in film, it's the same thing, but being a musician, where in this time it's about popularity, because I need to be popular for people to want to listen to the music, rather than I'm just this artist that you'll just happen to find. It's just a different thing, right? You know, and then it's hard for people to see you in something, say like The Chi, where I'm a thug figure, but then I've watched him this way, so I can't really thug and that don't really, you know, or Edmund. You know, that drastic of even my hair has changed, face shaven, I'm slimmer, the glasses,
those creepy glasses.
But it's what's going on inside of my mind that is hopefully allowing you to dismiss everything you ever thought about me as the personality.
Yeah.
Right? The personality is, Luke, the dude who sings, and he's in some of these shows that I watch, or this movie that my little sister watched Little and or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's a hard thing. I guess it's not for most people, because people who are in this, or I learned being in film, especially when you get to theater, everybody sings. Everybody aspires to be this thing, you know, multi-hyphenate, you know, because it all coincides. I can't think not to step on that stage and not want to sing a song, musicals, etc. Right?
Yeah.
But it's a very fine line to play when you want to portray a character like that, and you have an audience that's always just used to you one way. Yeah. So you really got to jump out there, and that was a freeing experience, man. Shout out to Lil Marvin. He gave me a safe space and told me, just go as far as you can and we'll be there to reel you in. And it was so much fun. I had a headache every day, but it was so much fun.
So you all talked about the work that you all are doing. You're at the start of, I guess, a new experience with your music, right? Yep. How does what you've accomplished so far in acting in these past few years enhance the music? Like, or is there even...
Yes.
Is there a connection?
There's an absolute connection. There was a connection when I got into film that helped me understand the melody of it all. All of it is music, you know, and it's all sincerity. It's all about the truth. You have to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the camera will catch it. In theater, you better do it because then people will tell. You know, it's all the things. And so it translates in the storytelling and the way I sing something, the experience that I want to have and the experience I would like the audience to have. So now I think differently of the next time I perform. I have to be having some type of perspective. I think it's important to have a perspective of what is it I'm trying to do, rather than I'm just making music. For you to bop to and whatever that does. My perspective currently, for me right now, musically is romance. And what does that entail? What is that umbrella? What encompasses romance? And it's so many things. And that is only because I'm working through experiences. The beauty of film and television, or just playing characters, you get to play many different lives. And if you allow yourself to really dig deep, and if you care about it enough, you dig so deep that you truly understand what makes these people tick.
Yeah.
It's ticking you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you have to question a lot of your beliefs against their beliefs because you can't be biased. You're the character, so you got to let them live, even if what they decide to do is so beyond what you would ever do.
Yeah.
But I gotta find out why. And then in some weird way, I understand why he would choose to do that. And it allows you, then when you get into a room of songwriting, then you're like, well, I've got so many places, my imagination, the muscle to imagine so many different spaces of, to have different perspective. It just feeds, if you allow it, it feeds you. And then just, the theatricalness of it all.
At this point in your career, what do you want out of acting and what do you want out of music?
Well, I want to have complete creative financial freedom. Creative and financial freedom. And that is the beauty of entertainment, that it can happen if the things align, if you know what I mean? If you stay the course, it will happen. I don't have tunnel vision. My vision is pretty much, I don't know what you call it, but I see it all. Before just music was just really tunnel vision.
Yeah.
I have a son now, so now my perspective is these are things that if ever I left this world, these will be things that he has of me. And so I want to make sure that I'm telling stories to the fullest of my capability, doing my best work. And also telling great stories, something that means something. It's entertaining, but it also means something. You know what I mean? And musically, now musically more than ever, I'm there too. Each, it has to. What does it mean? It has to mean. You know what I mean? And I just would like to. I find that to be immortality when it's right. We will always hold on to Prince because of Purple Rain, because of everything, the chances he took, the performances, the energy that he gave us, the movies, just that perspective which altered the way we are as artists, the chances we take, those things will live on forever, and in that are pieces of him, right? And I think that's the same thing for artists in totality. From writer to painter to everything, these are pieces of me, and so each thing has me in it. So I if it's gonna still be here, the sky doesn't burn us all up, it's still here. Then that's really our sustainability.
We sound crazy.
The Esther Roll
Award.
So opening up the floor this week for our Urbies. The floor is officially open.
Well, we kicked off the show with this collective out of Detroit. Their influence, I don't feel like they get the props they deserve. I'm talking about The Barge.
I like that. I like that. We didn't talk about it on the show, but had you been eavesdropping before the show, we were playing Mint Condition. And Stokely. The whole band, but I'm going to isolate Stokely because it's the voice, it's the musicality. We're talking about him being a drummer, his stylizing. I'm going to nominate Stokely as one of the most amazing still vocalists in Black music and beyond. Yeah. Stokely's my nomination.
We mentioned it earlier, but another voice that gets overlooked a lot is Dino from H-Town. Dino was one of my favorite voices as a Black musician, so I'm going to nominate Dino.
I'm going to go with a woman who's no longer with us, but in kind of going down the Angie Stone rabbit hole because of us recently losing her, I then went down the rabbit hole of Betty Wright.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the art of storytelling in music. Betty Wright is kind of one of the pioneers of that, and how she incorporated rap and hip hop into a lot of her early music in the 70s and 80s. And then the whole Southern soul movement would not be what it is without her. Yeah.
And it's blowing up all over.
Absolutely. So we have Betty Wright to thank for that. And then on top of that, like a lot of the work she's done behind the scenes with so many different artists and how she's groomed so many people that are still out here thriving today. So I'm gonna put Betty Wright on the table this week.
Wow.
All right, come on, bro. Who you got?
You know, y'all, I had someone in mind, but you know what? I want to give somebody their flowers while they're here.
Okay.
It's my big brother, Little Steve Russell from Troop.
Yeah.
Troop.
A lot of people don't know
Yeah.
all the things that he has done since Troop, all the music that he's created, all the music that kind of shaped a bit of my childhood for sure, especially, you know, being in boy bands, being in a group and stuff like that. And, you know, we don't think about them first records with B2K. Those records was smashes.
Yep.
And Lil Steve was behind all of that. But also, when I got with the Underdogs, Lil Steve was with the Underdogs, and he was the first person that gave me a shot to write. And so my first song that ever came out, publishing wise, was Ruben Studdard "Change Me."
Ooh, yeah.
So yeah, my flowers. Yeah,
Lil flowers
Steve.
go to Lil Steve.
Lil
I like
Steve.
that.
That's probably one of my favorite Ruben songs.
This is a very difficult.
This is a tough one. So just to recap, we've got DeBarge, we've got Stokely, we've got Dino from H-Town, Betty Wright, and Lil Steve Russell.
Yeah.
All right.
So you can vote as many times as you want.
For this first round.
For the first round. And if we hit a tie or something, we'll do the tiebreaker. But round of show your hands for DeBarge.
You can't sleep on that.
5 out of 5.
Play yourself.
Stokely.
Wow, y'all are racist. On
3
this
out
side.
of 5.
Y'all are racist over there.
Dino from H-Town. 4 out of 5. Betty Wright.
Y'all are haters.
Wow. 1 out of
She
5.
coming to get all y'all.
We love Betty Wright.
We do.
Lil Steve Russell.
Yeah. Oh.
So 5 out of 5 for Lil Steve Russell. So it's between DeBarge and Lil Steve Russell.
All right. So the second time, you can only vote once. This is how we're gonna decide the tie. Let me just get myself. Let me just pray, Lord. All right, here we go. I'm ready.
Show of hands for DeBarge. It's 3 out of 5. Majority rules. Congratulations, DeBarge.
I'm still not mad about it.
Yes, congratulations, DeBarge. You all are the recipients and winners this week
100%.
of the Esther Roll Black Excellence Award.
100%. Deserve.
Shout out to Steve Russell, though.
100%. Luke, you clearly could talk for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So you got to come back.
Yes.
We got to talk new music when that happens, and talk about all the acting opportunities that are on the verge of happening that you probably can't talk about right now because you're signed all the NDAs.
NDAs. You know.
But this was an amazing conversation.
I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Really.
I think you're going to inspire a lot of people.
Absolutely.
I think you're going to recharge a lot
inspired.
of artists and people who are just not sure, because you are multi-hyphenate is a word that we throw around, but you're really doing all the things, bro.
Man, thank you. I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. Be inspired. Be inspired, man.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be hard. It's going to be okay.
It's supposed to be hard and it's going to be okay. Pause.
Or not. Whatever's your flavor. You know?
Yeah, or not.
I'm just playing, y'all.
Jeez.
Nah.
What do you think?
What do you think? Make sure you follow us on all platforms at We Sound Crazy and WeSoundCrazy.com.
And shout out to our partners at Visit Music City. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you to our special guest, Luke James.
Yes.
Until next week, We Sound Crazy. We out of here, y'all.
Peace.
We sound crazy.